Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark, this is Spiguyver Backpacking. Today we're out here, I've got the backpack on, I've got some gear in here, and I wanted to set up the Haven tent, hammock tent, the Haven XL. I wanted to set it up for you guys. I had some requests to set it up as a tent because I did explain that you could set it up either as a hammock or a tent. So if you find yourself in a spot like this, where there's no good trees, what are you gonna do? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how you do it, and I've brought along those accessories that I mentioned. The 3 accessories that Haven sells that I think are probably the right things to go ahead and add to your Haven XL if you're getting it, just to make the experience a little bit better, a little bit easier, and more convenient. So let's get into this. Let's go. All right, so if you find yourself setting this up as a tent, in place of trees, you're going to need to make sure that you have trekking poles, and preferably adjustable trekking poles so you can get the height just right. Okay, so I've never set this up as a tent before, so today's going to be the first time. I've got everything laid out over here, and so we're just going to start pulling stuff out, seeing how well it sets up. All right, so I've got a nice spot right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the body, lay that over to the side, and kind of get it situated. Okay, here's an end that would go to a tree. Make sure it's not tangled, twisted. And here's the other end that would go to a tree. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how it is set up right now. All right, so what we're gonna do is grab some stakes and some guy lines and use the trekking poles to try and get this set up. Love the first time, just kind of winging it, seeing how it all works out. The way that Derek recommends doing it is making an overhand loop in the end. So you've got this loop, that's really a doubled over loop inside of that. Taking a trekking pole, coming over the end of the trekking pole, taking the carabiner and clipping into that loop, and then using that to tighten it down. Stick this into the ground right here. Come up onto it, tighten that down. Grab one stake. And I'm going to make a loop in the line here just to attach to the stake. I can tension this by moving the stake wherever it needs to be. But that's a start. Maybe a little too tight there. Come in a little bit. Need to have a pole on the other side as well. Okay, so now it's generally up. It's not good yet. And it looks like we're gonna have to adjust where how this carabiner's in there. It's flipped around. There we go, it's a little better. Clip it in now. Go back to the other side, make some adjustments over here, so I can see that it's also twisted up. Okay, when Derek says to put it up so that the tent body or the hammock body is just touching the ground. Maybe a little bit low right here, but we'll start with this. Next, we need to put in the spreader bars to open it up a little bit. Okay, so right here you've got the basic setup, but we need to get that, really the structure, because we're not guying out these points. While you have these little loops here with the toggles on them, you could guy this out. But what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put the pad in, and that's gonna create the base. Okay, so now that we've got this basically set up, we're just gonna take the pad, lay it in place in here. We may need some extra guy outs. May need to go 2 on each side and just go out to the sides. So why don't I set that up real quick. All right, so I added 2 guy outs on each end, so it's got a much more stable platform. With just the one pulling straight out, it was a little bit loose and tippy. So back to what we were doing. I've got the pad in there, and now I'm going to get out the power pump. We're going to air this thing up, and you'll see that should add, we'll see, the additional stability that we need. Little tiny piece right here just goes right into the inflator. Bang, we're in business. Now I'll just line it all up where it needs to be, put it in the little pockets once it's fully aired up. You can see that it's actually coming off the ground a little bit, which is perfect. That's exactly what Derek had said to do, is have it just slightly off the ground. Almost there. Okay, so inflation-wise, it's there. We'll get it inside of the little pockets on each end. Okay, so now we can go ahead and get in it. You can see that it is now a tent. So I can zip up the bug net. I could pull the rain fly over. I could button it down on the sides. If I had other guy outs, I could guy it out a little bit. If I had a second set of trekking poles or some sticks, I could set it up so that it's propped up. This is how it works. Point I learned, first time setting it up, 1 line out wasn't enough. Use 2 lines, and that way it's going to be staked out just the way you need it. Okay, so since I've got it up, I've been laying in it, and I've chosen a nice spot, so it's nice and flat here. I can get in and out, no problem. I could easily cook from right here. If I had the tarp over and kind of guide out at an angle, I could be protected enough. I could probably cook in there as long as there's not a bunch of wind that's blowing towards me. But for a hammock camper that's looking for a little bit more versatility, this is a really, really sweet option. Once you've done it once or twice, I think setup on the ground is going to be super simple. There's really no need to guy out any of the tarp or anything, because you've got these pieces down here, the toggles that the eyelets, the grommets right here attach into, and so there's no need to guy it out. Yes, sure, you could if you wanted to, but there's no need to. You've got a fully enclosed bug net, so the bugs are going to stay off of you, the creepy crawlies are going to stay off of you. You've got a chance to be on the ground. The more I set this up and play with it and learn about it, the more I see this being really, really useful for bike packers, those guys that do adventure motorcycle type stuff, the off-roaders that are spending multiple days out in the woods, especially the ones that have back issues and like to stay off the ground, don't really don't really like sleeping on the ground. This will get you off the ground, but in those times where, you know, you may be going across the desert or across the salt plains or out in big open fields, you know, across Kansas where it's wide open. You may be out there adventuring and there's no trees. You're in a spot like this where there's no good trees, or the underbrush is so thick that you just can't hang something up. If you can find a nice clearing, a nice spot, you can throw this thing down on the ground and do what I've done right here, and you've got yourself a pretty killer setup. Okay, now that we've got this set up, I did want to show you guys the 3 pieces of accessory that Haven sells that I think I advise getting. The first one you've seen me use before, and it's that power pump. What I didn't show you on this power pump is that on the bottom of it, it's chargeable by a USB-C, but it has another port there, and you can actually use this as a power bank. So what Derek told me is that for on a 5-day trip, he actually used this to inflate 3 people's mattresses each night and used it to power another accessory that I've got with me. And that accessory is the ridge light. This ridge light is actually really, really cool. Let me pull it out of here and show you guys exactly what it is. And the fact that this bag is this kind of transparent white, it's like a really bright white, but it's transparent, is part of what makes it cool. So it comes with a couple little doohickeys to make sure that it's hung where and how you want. The end I still have kind of attached up, but it's got these rings on here, and these rings can attach to the crossbar, the spreader bar, so that you've got your power switch, power and dimmer switch, right at your ready. It's got these carabiners with these like friction locks on there that you attach to the ridge line. So you put one at each end, stretch it out, and this goes right along that ridge line, and it's pretty much the same size as the ridge line, the same width and everything, so it's not going to get in the way of anything. But it is a string of LEDs. Let's go ahead and plug this in here and turn it on. Okay, so not sure how well you can see that, but these are on right now. Those are on. They're on really dim right this second. Brighten them up. Okay, so they're brighter. But this goes in there, and so you've got ridgeline lights lighted up inside of your hammock, inside of that body really well. But the cool part about it all is that if you throw it inside of this bag, that brightness from the ridgeline combined with that a little bit transparent and white of this bag, when cinched up just like this, becomes a really bright lantern that you can hang around camp. And for someone that does filming or any photography, you could use this as a light to backlight things, or a front light for, you know, filming. But really a cool piece that doesn't weigh a ton. It's a whole lot lighter than I thought it was going to be, and so far it seems like it's pretty durable. Now I've only messed around with it. I haven't actually put it on the spreader bars, but I've messed around with it at night, taking it out in the backyard, and it actually casts quite a bit of light. So kind of a cool little piece. And especially if you're out car camping or you've got kids, I think that this is one of those pieces that, you know, why not buy it? It's a innovative, cool little piece. And the last one is one that you guys have seen me use every time I've hung this, and that is the set of whoopee slings. So it comes with 2 of them, and they're just like any other whoopee slings that are out there. You've got an eyelet loop that I've got on a carabiner, and then you've got the adjustable loop on this side. You've got the berry in between, and the berry is only about 2 inches, which at first concerned me. I'm used to probably a 4 to 5 inch berry, if not more. So I was a little bit concerned with a 2-inch berry, but it has held really well. And this line is nice and slippery, so you can actually make adjustments real easy. But when tension is on it, it does not slip. I cannot get it to slip at all when there's tension on it. But once tension's off of it, just grab the berry, slide it down a little bit, and you can make perfect little adjustments any way you need to, but when time comes to put weight on it, it holds. So that's all you can really ask for in a whoopee system, whoopee sling system. Advantage of a whoopee sling system is it gives you infinite adjustability. If you're just using the loop system and you've got your carabiners, they're in either 3, 4, 5, 6 inch sections, and so you've got to make 3, 4, 5, 6 inch adjustments depending on what set of loop system you have. There's other stuff out there that you can make infinite adjustments, but these ones are dead simple. They clip right into the loop system, so you've already got everything, and just an additional piece that makes it easier and gives you more freedom, gives you longer, wider between trees to get this going. As I've been using this, I've really found that the versatility of it is really good. I wasn't sure how I would like it set up as a tent. So far, pretty impressed with it. It's still got all the features that you have of it when it's hung. So you've got all the pockets, you've got the bug net, you've got the tarp integrated. You can take the tarp off, you can take the bug net off. You can have this be wide open and have it ready in case stuff rolls in. I've got everything kind of rolled over to the side. You can roll it up. You've got these clips and retainers up there, so you can roll it all up and have it along the ridge line and just up there waiting. And then combining those accessories. The accessories make airing up this sleeping pad super quick and super easy. Gives you the lighting that you need, and then when you find some trees that you can hang it from, even if they're a little bit wider, use the whoopee sling system and you've got yourself set up. Pretty impressed with this thing. Now, is it a backpacking hammock and tarp setup? For me, no. For me, no. I know that there are some out there that will use it that way. I know that there are some that aren't going to be put off by the weight of it. But I think for those that are doing things like bike packing, adventure, motorcycle stuff, off-roading, car camping, group hangs, this is a perfect setup for those. And it's one of those flatter lays, which I know a lot of people are looking for. Some people really want to lay on their stomach and their sides, and this is going to give you the ability to definitely do that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. I'll see you guys next time.